can go back and study all the material that we talk about. But without further ado, Jeff, I hand the microphone over to you. And actually, one more housekeeping item. We do have chat. So if you guys have any questions on chat, Jeff will definitely ask you guys questions, want to keep you guys engaged throughout this webinar.
Totally.
Keep those things popping in there, and we'll do our best to stop and answer those things. So, Jeff, I hand the microphone to you.
Deanna, I really appreciate this opportunity here out there. Everybody ready to go today? Everybody alive, excited, full of life, ready to set some more appointments, ready to convert some leads that we are talking about. We're going to talk about seller leads today. We're going to talk about dialogues. We're going to talk about creating urgency. We're going to talk about maybe some objections that we're hearing out there. So, hey, Deanna, I don't know if you can check the chat. Why don't everybody put in the chat? Let's talk about, I want to make sure this is powerful for everybody that's on this call. What's a big challenge or objection you're hearing or facing when you're talking to sellers right now in this type of market? Let's see what they have to say.
For everybody, there's a little bit of a delay sometimes from chat to it getting to the speaker. So if you do ask a question, know that it's there.
Sam in the house. Love it. Let's go, Gilbert. I love it. So to me, just think about, what we're really going to talk. Oh, let's see. Now we're getting some responses. Oh, I love it. I want to wait till the election. We want to wait. Having paid buyer's agent commission. We want to wait till spring. Them not getting back to you. They're ghosting you, right? A lot of it is, Deanna, what I'm seeing is a lot of it is I'm just waiting, or we're just looking, or we're just getting the process started. We probably hear that quite a bit, especially the leads that we get from sold.com, right? It's probably sometimes a little bit of a longer nurture period for online leads that we gather. Are you seeing that, Deanna? What is the analytics, or what are you seeing around the leads that are coming in?
Yeah, definitely. I can speak for ours, and we're definitely a top of funnel person. So I always phrase it as they're in the discovery phase, which sometimes means they're not even ready to talk about the fact that they are willing to sell. They're still talking about what their house is worth. But we traditionally see about 10% of our audience does something in the first 10 or 12 months. And then about 18 to 36 months is the traditional timeline for the top of funnel folks.
So it's even quicker. What I heard is it's at least in the first year.
Yeah. 10% of people are going to do something within the first year. So it's just capitalizing and hoping it's you that they choose.
I love it. So I'm seeing again, it's expensive. Well, let me ask you this. What's going to happen today at 2:00? Let's see that in the chat. We know what's going to happen. What do you think is going to happen?
I know the big hot topic today is rates.
That's right. The Fed are going to announce what they're going to do, right? Rate cuts. I don't know nothing, but my prediction is they're going to lower it 1/4 point, and then October they're going to lower it 1/2. Indiana, if that happens, we're going to get into that rate environment in the 5s again, or the low 5s.
Yep.
And I think what we've been missing the past couple years have been that move up buyer. Maybe some of these leads don't know quite what their home is worth. And maybe they're reaching out. Maybe they're in that research or discovery phase of figuring out what their home is worth. So the idea is, how can we create some urgency? So everybody, I want to hear you say, giddy up, type in there, let's go, Jeff, because I'm going to come hard and fast. I got a lot of great opportunities and a lot of great dialogue that I want to go through with you today. Obviously, you're going to get the slides when we're done here. So to me, we are talking about maximizing success with sold.com. So let's get right into it. I got to tell you this. I coach over 70 clients with Tom Ferry, and the average client that I coach makes almost $500,000 a year.
It's incredible.
Hey, Deanna, let me ask you this. What do you think the average agent does in GCI a year?
I have absolutely no idea, but I've heard some really crazy numbers of 1% of agents do 99% of the business. So
it has really gotten, we've all heard the 80-20 principle. I think in real estate, it's the 90-10 principle, or even the 5% of agents are doing 90 to 95 of the business out there. But the average agent does about 2 deals to 3 deals a year. I coach people that are doing over 42 deals a year, and they're making almost $500,000. So what I'm going to go through, I'm a sounding board from what I'm hearing them say. So I'm not going to change this up. This is what they're saying. This is what they're doing. And we're going to talk about the things that I mentioned, creating urgency out there in this type of market. And the average agent that I coach is going on almost 10 appointments a month or 120 appointments in a year. They're really strong. So I'm going to go through some scenarios, and then we're going to talk about what they're saying specifically today around seller leads. So let's get right into it. So number one, if I told you of an approach that will generate 48 listing appointments, that will lead to 29 sales in a year, and one of my clients, her name is Nancy Reynolds. She sent out 1,000 CMAs to the leads that she generates online. And she made $1.1 million in GCI in 1 year of doing this. That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
It's insane.
So the idea is it's super simple. We know people are probably we know that there's a lot of algorithms out there that are not giving true accurate numbers around what their home is worth. Most people really want to know what their home is worth. So Nancy, again, she sent out over 1,000 CMAs in a year. And here's her results. Here's what she did. First off, she made a commitment. See, I think we have an issue in our business of doing things consistently. She made a commitment. She made a commitment to do this for a full year. She tried this out a couple years ago. She did it for a couple weeks. She overthought things. She would look at the number and say, oh, that's wrong, or I got to change this, or they bought a couple years ago. I'm not going to send this out. What if I told you she didn't even look at the number of what the home is worth? So she made a commitment to do this and not overthink things. Hey, let me ask you, do we have any overthinkers on the call today? Thumbs up if we overthink things. I think it's natural. We do always overthink things. But the second thing she did, she set a mailing goal. Her goal was to send out at least 2 equity updates a day or 10 to 12 a week. It seems like 1,000, it's a whole lot. But when you break it down over a year, it's really not that hard. So she's sending out 2 a day, 10 to 12 a week. And then the key is she's following up with a phone call. Deanna, we know the money is all in the what?
The conversations that you're having.
It's all in the conversations and the follow-up. We get these leads. I'm going to show you some stats that are going to blow you away of what we're not doing and what we could do. But the idea is I ran her numbers. She probably made a commitment of 240 hours in a year to do this. She's making almost $2,000 to $4,000 an hour doing this. So to me, she's sitting out what the home is worth. You can see, and again, you'll get these slides. She's got a cover letter, a little bit about listing with her, and then she's sending out either a quick CMA or an RPR report, letting them know the value of the home. And then she's following it up with either a phone call, a text, or she's door knocking the house. So let me ask everybody on this call, if I said, I'll write you a check for $1 million, and all you got to do, Deanne, is print out something, mail it, and follow up with a phone call, who'd take the check? I know I would. See, sometimes, again, we overthink things, and that you've got to believe, you got to have blind faith that if I do this, I'll get these results. I was talking to Nancy. She's actually in Silicon Valley. She goes, the real issue is that she sees agents. We want instant gratification. We want it now. We want to send out something, or we want to have a phone call, and we want it to turn into a business and turn into a listing and turn it into a sale. But the key is slow and steady. In the race with the turtle and the rabbit, we are the turtle. Slow and steady out there. All she's saying when she's following up Did you receive my equity update? And what do you think about the value? Look, what if I told you, like I mentioned, she doesn't even look at the value? There are people that say, hey, where'd you come up with that number? I think I could get more for that, or my home is worth more than that. She gets those same objections or challenges when we give them that number. And she says, of course, it's probably wrong. I haven't taken a look at your house. And it's a lead into, let's get together. Let's have a meeting. Let's sit down and talk. I'll be over in your area. So to me, what a great idea. How many people are going to do this? How many people could make a commitment to just send out 10 in the next week? Who's she sending it to? All the leads that you're generating from sold.com. That'd be a good idea. Maybe some leads we had over the past year or two that have mentioned they were thinking of moving. You could send it out to your farm. You could send it out to your past customers. You could send it out to expires. The list goes on and on. So again, I got a lot of great content today. I'm going to go through this fast and hard. Here's a great social media post that we just saw. Just completed an equity update for my client. They gained X number of equity in the last 12 months. It says, want a report for your home? What if I told you this agent sent this out and got 3 listing appointments from a social media post? That's insane. I've got another client that sends out an equity update that says, here's what Zillow thought the home was worth. We actually got them even more than Zillow, and they're using that as an opportunity to have a conversation with them. Here's another great idea. We know when we follow up, especially with our past customers or people we sold a house to maybe in the past 3, 4, 5 years. Deanna, we know most homeowners, they probably got a pretty good rate.
Yeah.
Right? They probably got 3% or 4%, right? And so our clients were getting tired of reaching out to past clients saying, hey, I'm never going to sell. We got a killer rate. We're good. But we're changing the conversation. Does everybody realize that there's never been this much equity in homeowners' houses right now? In the past 10 years, equity has tripled. It's almost 32 trillion in equity that we're sitting on right now. And the idea is, what are they doing with that equity? So this is one of my clients, Emil, up in Silicon Valley as well. He's sending this postcard, and you can see, did you get a chance to review my equity update? I'd love to hear your thoughts on your current home value. With so much equity in properties, my clients are exploring ideas like, are you thinking of remodeling your home? Are you thinking of investing in a new property? Are you trying to restructure some debt that's out there? Are you looking at cash out refinance options? Are you thinking about upgrading and selling your home? See, it can't be like sell, sell, sell. That doesn't work. So he's coming at it in a different way. What do you think about that, Deanna?
Yeah, I love it. It comes in from like an advisor perspective because, like you said, it's not sell, sell, sell. It's even saying remodel your home. It's not saying don't sell. Sometimes that is the conversation that can even open it up to selling.
That's right. It's just getting them talking and having that conversation. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, you're going to love this. I've got a client, Rochelle, down in Boca. Maybe if you were at Summit or saw Summit online a couple weeks ago with Tom Ferry, she was in the final of the role play challenge. This is so genius. I'm going to show you. She's got a list of 20 questions. Deanna, let's say I've got a lead. Let's say I sit down. We all know we're doing our listing presentation. And many times people, they're not going to sign right then, or they're going to say, I'm going to talk to some other agents. When she hears that, she gives them 20 questions to ask the next agent on their presentation. Now think about how that would feel. As if you're sitting down, you're prepared to do your listing presentation, and the seller says, hey, I've got some questions for you. And one of the questions she asks is, ask the next agent, what qualifications do you have to represent me in the largest transaction I'll make in my lifetime? Woo! That's a loaded question right there. So she's got 20 questions. I actually printed out. And again, you're going to get this. She hands them this. She does her best to get it sold or get them to sign the listing agreement. But when she doesn't, she says, hey, do me a favor, just ask these questions on the next listing appointment you go on. And guess what? She always ends up getting the listing. Many times she answers these questions at our listing appointment. And it's just, hey, we know that real estate is a competitive business. This is a great idea as well. What do you think about that, Deanna?
Yeah, that's amazing because it positions herself to be confident, but also she's already said why she's better. And this puts her in a position to actually highlight the fact that she is better than everybody else that they're talking to because no one else has the credentials that she does.
Totally. You're gonna probably catch somebody off guard by having them ask these questions as well. What else we got here? Oh, great. This is a rate text that everybody should be sending right now, especially today. OMG, did you see what interest rates are doing? They're starting to drop big time. Here's the key. If we're not excited about what's going on, how can we expect them to be excited? We know, you know that half of all sellers turn into buyers, right?
Yep.
Most people, they want to sell their home. They want to either move up, move down, whatever. Maybe they're being relocated. But lowering rates is good for everybody. So agents are sending out this text message. This is what you've been waiting for. Lower rates, more choices, less competition, plus rates are expected to trend down over the next few months. A 1% rate drop means your buying power went up 10%. Do you have a few minutes to connect this week? Maybe this is something we could text to old leads that we've already been generated or leads that we've gotten from sold.com. I would encourage you, send out texts like this. I'm going to show you some text, some dialogue, some emails, but this is just one example of what is working for our clients right now, sending out a text message around that. This is what you've been waiting for. Again, energy and enthusiasm go a long way in our business to some degree. The average person knows 5 agents. They're going to work with somebody that knows what they're talking about, that's excited, that's fired up, that's on the cutting edge, and bring information to them to some degree. And this is what we're seeing they're doing around text messages. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, Deanna, can you believe this? I saw this the other day. Interest rates have not been lowered since 2020. They've gone up pretty much every month since 2022. Those little rate dips right there, or those hikes, are every month. We've been like this, and now they're saying it's going to go like this. This is good news. This is the best news we've had in a long time. Our clients are on the phone talking to people, letting them know about this, asking if this will change their opinion on where they're going to be living in the next couple of years. Take advantage of this right now, because look at this. I've got a client. Actually, I was just on a call with Alicia Sanchez in Tucson. She's got the green screen behind her talking about the rates. She said this is the first time in 18 months that rates are in the 5s. You can see there's FHA and VA are in the 5s. We need to be putting this content out there. Right in the middle is another text message, maybe a little hard to say or see. It says, how are you? Hey, real quick, have you seen what's happening with neighborhood home values lately? I would be sending this, again, to leads that we have in our system. We know many times they're going to give us an objection. Maybe they're going to ghost us. Maybe we're not going to hear from them a while. But it's now time to re-engage with all the leads that we have in our system. What do you think about that, Deanna?
No, it's great because I think some people get so stuck on what do I do to nurture people that I haven't spoken to. And the first thought that comes to a lot of people's mind is, are you ready yet? Are you ready to sell yet? I'm checking in. And that isn't what moves the needle. It's this stuff that just opens the conversation. So I think that's been the constant theme, is just put content out there that opens conversation with people. Stop worrying so much about the end goal of, are they going to sell their home?
That's
Open
right.
up that dialogue.
That's right. I don't know who said this from Texas, but we all know, I'm going to give you a real quick economics lesson. We know when they cut the overnight rate that they're charging banks, tomorrow or next week, we're going to see a lowering of short-term loans. It's going to immediately impact car loans, HELOC loans. We're not going to feel it so much right away in the mortgage rates because it's already been built in. But there's going to be so much news that rates are going down. Most buyers assume it's mortgage rates. I predict that in the next couple days, you might see rates start to tick up in your area because of the activity that's going on. But to me, this is a good thing. It will always pan out. It means that we're heading in the right direction to some degree. What do you think about rates, Deanna?
It's great. It's a great news. It's all a great conversation starter.
That's the key. What else have we got here today? We know a lot of people in the chat said we're going to wait. They're going to wait for the election. They're going to wait till the spring. You can fill in the blank when they say we're going to wait. The key that I've always found that the top agents are doing is they're not trying to handle that objection right when they say that. Hey, Deanna, help me understand. What has you waiting? Why would I want to ask that question? What do you think?
Helps me understand how I'm going to respond to them.
Bingo. It gains context. See, to take your business to another level, what matters is what they say, not what you think. I truly think in my career over 30 years, I never sold anyone anything. I just asked really good questions. So help me understand, what has you waiting? Oh, it's the election, or I'm worried about my job, or I've heard it's better to wait till the spring. You just want to know where they're coming from. And you don't have to hit them head on. You want to create agreement to some degree. And we're seeing so many people that are so salesy. Hey, interest rates aren't too bad. And it just becomes salesy. Find out what they're thinking. What's that? It's empathy. Come from a place of curiosity and empathy. You hit the nail on the head right there. You may not realize that the market is still strong and high demand and low inventory, which could work in your favor, plus rates are trending down. Have you considered, I love this. I got this from one of my clients the other day. Have you considered waiting might bring more competition and a change in buyer sentiment, which actually could work against you? Here's the key question. Are you okay losing equity by waiting? No one says yes to that. That's a great question right there. So why don't we, here's the key, is handle the objection, do it empathetically, listen to what they have to say, give a common sense answer, and then the key is we are not having enough face-to-face, what I call belly-to-belly meetings with people right now. So the key line there is, why don't we set a strategy session and let's get together now. That way, when the time comes, you'll be in a better position to make a move. That's what we're seeing top agents are saying out there right now. So get this. You may not realize that Tom Ferry has Tom AI. Our clients can go into what we call our Loom, our back office system, and they can type in these objections or challenges out there. And just for fun, before this call, I typed in, hey, how do you handle a seller that says that they're waiting? Again, you're going to get these slides, but hey, let's see what it says. This came off Tom AI. I completely understand your decision to wait. It's a significant choice and timing is everything. Can I ask what specific factors are making you feel that way? Listen to their response. That makes total sense. Many sellers feel the same way, especially in the current market conditions. If it's all right with you, I'd love to keep you updated on any changes that may affect your decision. Would that be helpful? Of course, they're going to say yes. Great, fantastic. How about we schedule a quick follow-up meeting this week? This way I can provide you with the latest market insights and we can discuss your future plans. Does that make sense to some degree? What do you think about that? I thought that was pretty good.
It's pretty incredible.
It really is. Like, it's all out there for us. We can change it up.
Yeah, there's no longer getting stuck or not knowing what to do. Just we have AI out there now. We don't have to think as much.
We don't have to think as much. Or you could say, hey, create a text message or create an email or create a dialogue. Very cool. Good stuff. So here's another thing. I don't know if anybody on this call has had some leads that were possibly FSBOs or expireds. But with we know all the changes that has been happening in our industry. I got to be honest. My clients, it's kind of like Y2K all over again. It was a whole lot of noise about a lot of nothing to some degree. I think we've adapted. I think we've moved past that to some degree. But you know what? Think about the average FSBO or think about the average buyer. They can't navigate this. So if you're talking to a FSBO, or maybe some of the leads that are inquiring on sold.com, maybe they are putting their home on the market. Maybe they're trying it themselves. This is what top agents are saying. I'm curious, have you had a chance to review the new purchase contract? Deanna, what do you think they're going to say?
No, most of the time.
No way. What are you talking about? Plus all the updated paperwork you're now required to include in a sale. You're going to talk about the paperwork and how things are changed. They're probably going to say, what paperwork? I mean, it's quite a bit more than what most people expected. No, I haven't seen any of those new forms or contracts. Oh, you haven't? I was afraid of that. You see, the updated contract is pretty extensive. Oh, now I'm creating a little fear, and missing just one of the updated forms could really cause delays, or worse, open you up to legal issues. Now you got them thinking. I've seen it happen. The paperwork alone has tripped up even experienced sellers. It's easy to overlook some things, especially with all the recent modifications. Here's the key line. Are you sure you feel comfortable navigating this on your own? Hey, you know what, Deanna, why don't I do this? Why don't I stop by in a couple days and bring you our marketing packet and samples of these documents? That way you can read them over at your leisure. Would that help you out?
Yeah, that's amazing. It creates fear, doubt, and value.
That's right. All in one. And then they're going to read that. And all we're ever looking for is, again, we need more conversation. And this is just another conversation starter out there. We've got, buyer FSBOs that say things like, hey, bring me a buyer, I'll pay you the fee. This is funny. Isn't it better to have me working for you rather than paying another agent fee to work against you for their client? Deanne, that's like paying your ex's lawyer in a divorce and not having somebody fight for you. You wouldn't want that, right? No, it wouldn't. Like, that's a good analogy, especially with all the changes that are happening. Okay. So good stuff on the FSBO side there. What else? What else do we got here? Oh, many clients I love text messaging. And Deanna, I've always text messaging is a good form of notification, not a good form of communication. And these are some sample text messages that our agents are sending out to take them off a text to create a phone call. We know that we're in the relationship business. We're in the communication business in real estate. So to me, there's too much texting going on. It's hard. Oh, look at that. Who would have thought? Woo, fireworks. So the first thing says, hey, Deanna, I've had some great info that I think could really help you with your search. How about a quick 5-minute call to go over with you? I promise it'll be super helpful. When's a good time for you? Or we've had a lot of questions. Let's hop on a quick call to chat about them. It's funny how agents have a hard time taking people off text to a phone call. Some people just want to text, but we know we're better off talking to people all day long. What do you think about that, Deanna?
Yeah, super valuable.
Let's see. Did you hear about your neighbor? We know, many times we've got clients, like I mentioned, Nancy, that's sending out equity updates around the neighborhood. When you call or talk to somebody or even text them, did you hear about your neighbor? You caught their attention. And this is just a script that can help you out to make connections with potential sellers out there. Let's see what else. I love this. If anybody out there is calling any expireds, maybe some of these leads that are coming in, maybe they tried it themselves. Maybe they didn't get what they're looking for. Maybe they're looking for another solution out there. We've got clients that are saying the market has changed, but real estate agents haven't. Like I just mentioned, in the sense of how they list their homes, this is one of our great clients, Jesse Salas in San Diego. This is exactly what he says to expireds. He says, what's missing today compared to a few years ago is 3 things: buyer competition, a sense of urgency, and buyer motivation. He's putting this potential seller in a category of you're either getting you're getting no showings, no calls, no views, or you're getting a lot of activity and you're hearing that people are going to write up an offer and then poof, nothing happens. And he goes, which one of the two are you feeling? He goes, what if I could share with you a process that creates buyer competition, buyer motivation, and a sense of urgency. This is what he's saying to get expireds out there. So Deanna, let's take a break for 1 second. Let me ask you this. What are you seeing agents, what mistakes are they making with the leads that are being generated by sold.com?
It's a good question. I think follow-up and commitment to process is probably the biggest thing.
Okay.
And those are the things I wrote down the most as we have continued training with our network. Is I love that you started the webinar today talking about commitment to your process, because everybody wants instant gratification. And so I think that is probably one of the biggest things is all of these tips that you've given today are things that everyone should implement, not only with their sold.com leads, but with every lead that they have in their database.
That's right.
We cannot expect that one text message that we send to everybody today is going to revolutionize our business and take it to $1.1 million in GCI. We have to know that one text message is the start of a complete series of communication and outreach that we have with those people. And so I think that really is the biggest takeaway for me for things that maybe people are floundering on a little bit with the sold.com leads. And
so what I heard you just say, they don't have a process, or they gotta be committed to the process.
Yep. Create a process and then commit to that process. And then understanding just the real life expectations. We talked about it at the beginning of the call of 10% of people are going to be ready in that first 12 months. And that still is a pretty high number.
That really is.
Also means that 90% of people aren't going to be ready, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad lead. There's going to be some, right? There's not, when you're online, there's going to be, not everything's gold, but there's still a high potential of 10% of the people you're talking to going to be ready to do something. It's just a matter of, are you doing creating the right habits, having the right processes where they actually want to continue talking to you? Have you provided them value of why they would want to continue talking to you? But are you pulling out of them the information that you need so that you can create the right process around that person?
What marketing materials do y'all provide agents or to help them out in that process?
So we're not so big on the marketing material side of things. We do have some documents that they can download pre-appointment that we set with them. So when agents in our network, one of the best parts about, you were talking about goals that agents should have is we do have a concierge team that sets up appointments for people, and how they're in position to get those appointments is based off of our algorithm. And so we have different for people to boost their rank to get a higher rank in that algorithm. But when they do get an appointment, they can download different CMA documentation to bring to show the value, to show the equity within their properties, and talk about what's going on in their neighborhoods.
So there's a concierge that sets the appointment?
There's a concierge that sets
do they ever follow up after the meeting, or what does that look like?
So we're following up after the meeting with the consumer and then the agent to see, how did it go? Did you like our agent? Was there anything more that you need from that agent? And we do a survey with that person. We share that information on the back end as well. But our goal is really to position the agent to be that person that's the star of the show. So reaching out to them, we have a best practices document that kind of highlights what you should be doing and how you should be keeping in touch with that person. And I'll find that document and link it in here as well. But we even created what should you do as part of your follow-up? What do you say when someone says, I'm just curious? Do you walk away kind of stomping your feet of, man, another waste of my time of somebody who's just curious? Or how can you dig a little bit deeper to understand, or at least position yourself for a longer term follow-up with them?
I can't believe that they're following. It's like you got your own support.
Yeah, it's like an ISA assistant. A lot of people are not financially in the position to have an ISA or an assistant reaching out for them. So it is kind of an all-inclusive program for them.
I'm going to throw this out to everybody. I'm a big fan of saying this. The leads get better when you get better. What does that mean to everybody? Put it in the chat. The leads get better when you get better. What does that mean? What do you hear when I say that, Deanna?
I love that saying, because it means that it's not just like a relationship. It cannot be one-sided.
That's right.
I cannot expect to be happy in my relationship if I just want that one thing to always be good to me, but I'm not going to be good to it. And so I have to be good at that lead. I have to work that lead. The better I get, all of a sudden, miraculously, my leads are all of a sudden good.
That's it.
But no magic switch was pulled. It was just
that's right. There's no, when it comes to sellers, there's no good seller leads, there's no bad seller leads, and it's the same with buyers. All we can ever do, we cannot blame the client. Like, think about that. The leads are what they are. But if we practice, if we improve, if we take some of these ideas, if we maybe go on ChatGPT and figure out another way of handling this, or we go into Tom AI and see how we can handle this, there's got to be constant, never-ending improvement in our business. It's too easy to say, oh, leads aren't any good, or I didn't get enough leads, or whatever. That's what average agents say. And I know everybody on this call and everybody that's working with sold.com, they're not the average agent. They're not going to do 2 or 3 deals a year. So to me, it's imperative that we look at what can I do better. Hey, Deanna, I'm going to show everybody the accountability position. I can't see everybody on this call, but put your finger in the air. This is the accountability position. Put your finger in the air and then point it right at you. It comes down to you. It comes down to what you do. See, I truly don't think we have a lead problem in our business. Sold.com are giving you guys leads. We have a follow-up problem. We have a skills problem. We need to get better at what we do. So, good stuff so far. Hey guys, can I get a thumbs up to keep on going? We got some good information so far? Because I think the second half is going to be even better. Any other thoughts, Deanna, before we start moving on?
No, I think this was great. I think this aligns really well. I think everything is just about building that value and what can you do to better the lead.
That's right. That's the key. So I've got a client. We all know that we have what we call these cocktail conversations where we're put in situations where we don't know people and we want to at least at some point bring up that we're in real estate. And I think, to me, it's a little cheesy, like, hey, I'm in real estate. By the way, you know anybody that's looking to buy or sell? That never goes anywhere, especially with someone you don't know. But I've got a client that I love this thought. He says if he's talking to somebody he doesn't know, or it's somebody new, maybe he's at a networking event or a cocktail party or whatever that looks like in our life. He says, hey, you know what? Yeah, real quick, a random quick question. When it comes to real estate in your neighborhood, whose name comes to mind?
That's a great question to ask.
I think it has so much confidence. Like, you're not like, I'm not looking for business. I just, like, when I ask you that question, whose name comes to mind?
Tim Smith.
Tim Smith is marketing in your area. You're clearly near Newport Beach, California, right? Okay.
I am.
So you know what? I'm curious about Tim and his marketing. What does he do that really stands out for you?
He is everywhere.
He's everywhere. So I'm assuming you're getting mailers from him. Maybe every now and then he's going to make a reach out to you and have a call. You see him on social media. I'm sure you see his signs.
Creative with his videos for his listings, because he has a lot of high dollar listings. And so if you ever YouTube Tim Smith, you can see some of his very creative content.
Hey, that is so interesting. Hey, Deanna, thanks for the insight. Well, you know what, though? I'd love to have the opportunity to be your second choice. If you need a fresh perspective, please don't hesitate to contact or catch up with me. I think that's so good. I just want to be the second choice. I'm not downplaying anything that Tim does. It's like, he says it's like a mini survey. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I love that.
Okay. Good stuff, everybody. Love it. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, we were just talking about the follow-up. According to the NAR, the average conversion rate for internet leads is less than 1%. That's horrible. What do you think about that stat?
That is terrible. And I'm actually very proud of our conversion rate.
Which is that?
17% network.
That's amazing. 17% on appointments or a closed deal?
On appointments.
Amazing. So to me, they're teeing it up. They're giving you the leads, and then your skills matter. Okay, that's where it comes down to. Again, you get better when the leads get better when you get better. So 17% appointment rate. That's amazing. I'm sure there's some people on here that are converting at a high level, like maybe 50 to 75%, maybe even 100% of the listings that you go on, you walk away with a listing agreement signed. So if it's a 1% and you're at 17%, why wouldn't everybody want to be involved with sold.com, Deanna?
That's a great question, Jeff.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Like, I think, it's so easy to pick up buyer leads. You guys have really, it takes a different skill set to get seller leads. I've always found this. Anybody can sell a buyer. But when a homeowner thinks about picking an agent, they're going to look online, or they're going to know somebody, or it's going to be a recommendation like you guys are doing. Like, it's a higher level of, I think people are looking for a different level of professionalism when it comes to sell. It's amazing that you're converting at that high rate for seller leads. We all know if we're worried about the changes that are happening, go get more seller leads. Why not give sold.com a shot at giving you some business maybe for the next 3, 6, 9? If I'm an average agent, what's the commitment that I'm going to have to make with sold.com?
12 months.
So 12-month commitment, how much will it cost?
On average, an agent is paying about $1,900 for a year for 3 zip codes.
So, all right. That is with that conversion you just said, that's an amazing rate for $1,900.
Yeah,
to get a 17% conversion on the leads that come in.
And knowing that, like you said, more than 50% of those folks are also going to buy a house.
There are some other companies out there that are so proud that their conversion ratio is 2 to 4%. And we're on a call with sold.com and they've got a 17% appointment rate. I'd be all over this if I was an agent. $1,900 is a drop in the bucket over a year. That's like going to dinner once a month. Come on. Isn't your business worth it? But back to the stat right here. It's about the long-term follow-up, like we mentioned. We think about if we made a commitment to do something consistently, we can increase this conversion to 5 or 10%. So watch this. One of our great clients, he was at Summit just a couple of weeks ago, DJ and Lindsay down in Jacksonville. He started to track the leads that are coming into his office. Many are sellers. Some are buyers. But look at this. It's exactly what you just mentioned. We're treating these leads that come in like they're ready to go. They're ready to list, and they're not. We got to slow down. We got to slow down to speed up. We got to back off a little bit. It's a long game. Look at 21% of them turn into a deal in the first 3 months. But all the money, all the meat, all the appointments are in the follow-up. So, Deanna, when do you think most agents quit?
After their appointment.
On the lead. Let's say I reach out to you and I don't get anything and you ghost me or I don't hear from you. How many times do you think the average agent reaches out to a lead?
I would say 1 to 2 times.
It is literally 2 to 3 times if we're lucky. And then after that, we're on to the next one. We forget. Oh, ouch. Right, Eric? I love that. So imagine you got leads in your system that are still good. There's still meat on the bone, is like I like to say. Like, that's where it is. It's the continued follow-up. And watch this. The timeline, this was DJ's presentation a year ago. It's gotten even longer. Look, a year ago, it was 35%. We're going to do something in the first 3 months. Now it's 21% in the first 3 months. The lead time is longer. Hey, we know there's a lot of uncertainty out there. There's a lot of, there's not been a lot of positive news in our industry in the past couple months. So to me, we cannot give up I think the leads that we had this time last year, they may be ready to go now that these rates go down or starting to drop.
Say seller leads are so different because buyer leads are a little bit more instant gratification. They want to go see that house now. With the seller, they were at their discovery phase when they reached out originally. So all those people that are in your sold.com queue or any other seller leads that you guys have generated, don't discard those. Those people are probably ready right now. This is their sweet spot.
I got to think too. We know real quickly, we can just go in the MLS and see if they listed or not. If they haven't listed, game on. Continue to follow up. Look at this. This is Tom Ferry. We've been tracking the lead time, especially on sellers. It's almost at 115 days once you get them into your system. I just want everybody to leave this with like, we got to do a better job. We got to continue the follow-up. You may not be able to see this, but this is one of our clients' follow-up system. They're going to call them right away, send a video text, send a text message, and send an email. In the first hour, they get a lead. And then they're going to repeat it 2 hours later. So the question is today, how's your follow-up? How's yours compared to this? What do you think about that, Deanna?
I think that's amazing. And again, everyone's going to get a copy of these slides. So although it is tiny, you guys are going to be able to take all of this stuff and implement it into it and with a much better view.
You know what? My attitude when I was an agent, it was like, they reached out to me, so they're going to talk to me. I'm going to either have them say, not interested, or we've already talked to them. Like, I just see agents give up too quickly. So to me, I just wanted to, they reached out to me, so I'm not going to give up on the follow-up. This isn't a cold call. This isn't a random lead, all right? Sold.com is doing something behind the scenes to get these leads. They're expecting your call, so don't give up on them. We're quitting too soon. Here's a great email that one of my clients, Karen Balkin, sent out. She's up in Washington. She said, I thought of you today while touring this new construction site. You can see the details there. You might be interested in some stunning off-market properties in these areas. I'd be happy to schedule a consultation and a home tour. And then she offered times. This was to a lead. Her and I created this on a coaching call where they had ghosted her. This was a $14 million buyer that she met in an open house 3 months earlier that didn't get back to her. Within 5 or 10 minutes of sending this email, they got back to her and she set an appointment with a $14 million lead. Within seconds, they responded. Why do you think they responded to this?
Value.
Most agents are just checking in, seeing how you're doing. Look, they're not looking for an agent. They're looking for a property. So when it comes to what will I say, find a property for them if they're looking for a house, or let them know the value of their home if they're a seller. Bring some value to that conversation. And if you're a good agent, if you impress them, if you show that you're the expert, you will become their agent. Lead with value, lead with the value of their home, lead with an equity update, lead with a property if they're a buyer to some degree. Let's see what else. Oh, I thought about you today. What a great line in that email. Another one of our clients down in Miami, Alexandra, wrote, hey, last week we helped our client. This is a great follow-up, telling a story in a better way. Last week, we helped our client go under contract in Coral Gables for 1.8. The best part, my unique marketing plan generated multiple offers. Why do people listen to a story? What do you think, Deanne? Why do they listen to a story?
Just helps them emotionally connect.
Totally. Like it shows that you're in the business. It shows that you're relatable. And, you know, in this situation, there's still way more buyers than sellers in your area. If we come across buyers that would be willing to pay you top dollar, would you like me to call you? I think, and you probably recognize this, is that all we're ever trying to do is get them to reply to see if it's a live one, see if they're still out there. So what I found the top agents are doing, it's telling a little bit of the story and then asking a simple question. And what do agents do? I see these text messages that are like 50 paragraphs. Nobody's going to reply to that, or nobody's going to reply to that email to some degree. I think I'm close to wrapping it up. Last one. Do you want to make $1 million GCI? I bet everybody on this call does. My advice as a coach is that the agents that I coach that are making over $1 million, even in this market, Deanna, they have a commitment of talking to 50 people a week, 10 a day. Not calls, conversations. So if you want to do more, do a little bit more work. Make a commitment to talk to 10 people a day, serious 2-minute or longer conversations. Now, what's funny is I've got some clients, and this is such a genius idea. I've used this as an example. They've got a stack of a cup of marbles, and they have two. And every call they make, as old school as this is, they take that marble and put it in the other cup. We got one of our great clients, Paula Clark, is doing this right now, and it's made a commitment to her to 50 calls a day. So simple, such an easy idea. Last thing, and then I'm going to turn it over to you or any questions that we have, Deanna, is these are some marketing pieces of some clients. I mentioned Paula earlier. I want to know, what's your list price to sales price percentage? This is a great text message or a great marketing piece to follow up on the leads. Abby Greenberg down in Orlando, she says, I sell homes for 6% more than the average agent. Paula says, I sell average 12.5%. That's going to catch people's attention, especially in this day and age. Okay. So the last thing that I'm going to leave you with, again, you're going to get a lot of these slides, but this is one of my clients down in Houston. And Elio Alanis, he's generating 500 Instagram leads a year. How's he doing it? He's doing what everybody else is doing. He's showing a day in life. He's showing what he's up to, talking about his family, his dog, everything that's going on in his life. But every now and then, he just throws in there, text home to this number to get things started. It's a simple call to action. He's not afraid to be a salesperson. He's not afraid to say, click this link to get pre-approved. He's not afraid to say, text this number so we can help you out. We helped 180 families this year to date. Let's help you become a homeowner this year. There's a true call to action. He still does what everybody does, but once or twice a day, he just throws this in there and he just sits back. He checks his Instagram and he's getting DMs from people around what he's putting out there. Okay, that's all I got.
Thank you. I mean, this is such good information, because the big, like I wrote in caps on my notepad, was the biggest takeaway is you need to do more. And I think that's the ultimate question that everybody should walk away asking themselves is, are they truly doing enough? Right. Mm-hmm. I think we all have goals, whatever those goals might be. Sometimes I like to take, even the real estate hat off of it, whether it be fitness goals, weight loss goals, whatever those things are. If you're not hitting them, it's, are you actually doing everything that you need to? I know that I'm not at those goals because I'm not. Right? Like I'm not going to the gym the way that I should. I know that even if I do go to the gym, I come home and I'm not eating the way I should.
That's right.
So sometimes that self-awareness isn't, like, it's easier to blame the outside factors.
That's right.
You're to say it's the bad lead, it's bad this, it's something that's happening. But I think it's very difficult to look at ourselves and say, am I doing enough? Mm-hmm. And so I think a good question for everybody to ask, especially when it relates to, specifically sold.com stuff, is what are your expectations of sold.com leads? And are they aligned properly, right? If your expectation of any seller lead that you get online is that they are ready to sell when you get them, you're probably not in the right mindset for seller lead, unless you're potentially spending $2,500 cost per lead. They are people. I've found that a lot of people are expecting a lower funnel idea of what a seller lead should do, but paying top of funnel prices for a lead. There are leads out there, and we held a webinar with, and Jeff, you might be familiar with him, Ryan Young, founder
Yeah.
of Fellow.
Yeah.
He has a successful real estate team in Ohio. And he was talking about, like, you know, he's had this team for years and years. They are producing about 500 listings a year. And he has created a predictive pipeline where he knows every year how many new listings he's going to have going into 2025. But he's like, I do a lot of bottom of funnel advertising. I'm doing some radio ad stuff. He's like, but that cost per lead for me is about $2,500 per
lead. Jeez.
Yeah, per lead. And he's like, and it takes me a long time to get there. He's like, but I can expect, if I'm paying that much money per lead, that these people should be ready to go. And I can be upset when they're not ready to go when I get those leads. But when our average cost per lead is $10, that is something that, you know, you have to understand. And again, we're very transparent in the fact that it is a top of funnel client, is a top of funnel person. And so it's really understanding and making sure that we're aligned and that we're hearing and saying the same things. I'm saying top of funnel client and making sure you're translating it the same way, that these people aren't ready yet. And so now it's about more conversations, right? They
kind of raise their hand. They aren't like, come over. They're inquiring. They're trying to figure it out.
Exactly. They're starting that conversation. They're starting that conversation with you. So it really is about, are you doing enough to start the conversation with them? That's the big question that, you know, should be at the top of your mind. So everybody who's on this call is in our network today. And I saw some comments in there of, you know, I've never had an appointment. I've been with sold.com for months and I've never had an appointment. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about why that could be happening. One quick rehash is the type of ads that we run on Facebook and Google are find out what my house is worth and get a cash offer on your property. From a conversion perspective, what we normally see is that a home valuation request is about an 18 to 36 month cycle. And that seemed to match up really well with the clients that you're coaching. 10% are going to market within 12 months. A cash offer request scares people, right? Agents get those requests and the consumer says, I was just interested in a cash offer. So then our customer service team gets lit up by complaints by that person just wanted a cash offer. They didn't want to talk to an agent. Are you having the right conversations? Are you going on Tom AI? Are you going on Chat GPT to figure out how to overcome that objection? Because what they've just told you is they want to sell their home.
That's right.
And so a good question that you want to ask, and that even Ryan Young of that team has said, is you can say, hey, no problem, totally understand. If you don't mind me asking, is your goal to get the most amount, to sell your house quickly?
That's right.
Most amount of money from your home.
That's it.
Open up conversation, because then most people, unless they're in some kind of financial distress,
right,
going to say, get the most amount of money for my home. And this is where you can come in without bashing a cash offer and just say, hey, no problem, I totally get that. Just so you know, the way that cash offers traditionally work are this. What I would love to show you is what a retail offer could look like. Even I love the phrasing of retail offer, because people don't know what that is. Keeps conversation going. Well, what's a retail offer? A retail offer.
Selling my house at retail, it sounds like I'm going to get more.
Exactly, right? When you think about what's retail price versus discount.
That's right. That's right.
So it opens up that conversation, but those cash offer requests typically yield 22% of people are going to market within 12 months and have a much smaller cycle. But it still is, it's not about that instant gratification. So in the webinar experience, there's a handout section in the top. There might be a little red dot to indicate that there's new uploads. I've uploaded 2 documents in there. One is best practices for a consultation when you go out to meet with the sold.com appointments. The other one is how to work the raw leads that you get from sold.com. Jeff highlighted 2 to 3 times is on average how many times people are calling a lead that they don't get an answer from. That is not enough times. Jeff, how many times do you think realistically
That's right.
Call?
Oh my gosh. 2 or 3 times.
And how many times do you think it really takes to get somebody on the phone?
Nowadays, it's like 10 to 1. You got to call 10 times to get one person to answer.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing.
And that's where that question comes back to me is you need to do more. If right now you can answer that question for yourself and say that you're not calling every single lead, not only sold.com, but other leads less than 10 times, you need to do more.
That's right.
And also make sure that your expectations are aligned.
Deanna,
So,
I think people are underestimating how hard agents are working and the amount of time they're actually on the phone. And it goes right into what you're saying there. We're giving up too soon.
Yeah, we're giving up too soon and we have unrealistic expectations. And I've been in this space for probably 15 years now in the lead gen space. And the big thing that, and I'll own this, I've been around this space for so long that I've heard people that sell leads to agents oversell leads all the time.
That's right.
They're making you feel like every lead that you buy from your company is going to be ready to go right then and there. And that has been what's created and cultivated this environment of unrealistic expectations. And it's unfortunate because I think if people, any company selling you leads was up front and said, these leads aren't going to be ready to go right then and there. And if they are, you got really lucky. Because that's also the hardship of sold.com is sometimes we get agents who do get their first lead and it's ready to list right away.
That's right.
And they have now unrealistic expectations still.
That's right.
Now when the next one of their leads aren't converting, this is the customer service complaint we get. I got one good lead from you. The rest weren't great. So I think again, questions that were coming up as you were talking about the sold.com platform were, I'm not getting leads or I haven't received an appointment from us. Okay. So we built an algorithm internally. So every agent that's on this call is in our network and technically eligible for a lead. But how you are in line to receive a lead from us is based off of your algorithm. So every single agent has access to a portal. When you guys go in your portal, you can see what your rank is within each one of those zip codes. That rank is indicative of the order you are in line to receive a lead when it comes in. So if I'm this agent and my rank is 50, that means that 49 other agents would have had to reject that appointment in order for you to have the shot for that appointment. So, that can be the bummer for some people because our network as a core product can be free. They only pay a success-based fee if they convert something. Sure. But if your rank is 50, the honest answer is you're not going to get leads from us because 49 other agents aren't going to say no. 3 other agents aren't going to say no, right? Like if I have an appointment and I'm saying somebody wants to meet Friday at 3:00, 3 people aren't going to say no to that, right? The first person is probably claiming that every single time. So what we offer is an optional upgrade and an optional boost for agents, which allows for them to pay to boost their rank. And basically it takes it from that agent's perspective. If they were ranked 50, they'd buy their way up to the top spot. And so you were asking me about cost earlier. Retail price, remember, retail is the most money you ever spend for something is on average about highest price is about $250 a zip code. But then for, as the thank you for the effort of joining these webinars, investing in yourself, we offer a $55 per zip code promo pricing. So if sponsoring zip codes is something that agents want to do, they can do so at a very discounted price. If you already own zip codes, you can buy more, and that's still at that $55 rate. If you are in our network and have been wondering why you're not receiving anything from us, this would be why and the opportunity to take that. So what's the benefits of sponsoring a zip code? Number one is it boosts your rank to the top. So when a lead comes in, it's going to go to the concierge, and when the concierge schedules an appointment, you're going to have the first opportunity to claim that appointment versus your organic ranking. Second is you will also get the full contact details for every single consumer who comes to our site in the zip codes that you own. So instead of only waiting for appointments to come through, you're going to get the raw details. So when a consumer comes to our site, it goes to the concierge, but then it's also going to go to the agent. And so what can you do with that information? Jeff was talking about one of the first agents that he had on there is sending out those CMA reports, knocking on people's doors. You are going to have the full contact details for every single person who's coming through our site and requesting a home valuation or requesting a cash offer on their property. This gives you contact information to do more. Text message them, knock on their door, create CMA for them.
You got some inside information right there.
Yeah, because you need the information. You need something to have something, right? Like you can't start anything without having contact details first. And then the biggest thing is if when we give you full contact details for somebody and you get your own appointment off of them, right? Our concierge is doing their best to get an appointment for you. But in the event that our concierge does not get an appointment for you, you get the raw lead for that client and you call them and you get your own appointment and wind up getting a listing off of that client, we are going to completely waive the referral fee off of that client. So we will stop all referral fees entirely off of those people if our concierge is not the one who teed you up.
Wow, so that's amazing.
Those are lots of different benefits to getting you guys in front of people. So a few different ways that you guys can take advantage of that promo. This promo does expire tomorrow.
What's the special? Is that the special?
Yep, $55 zip codes. So like I said, I've been in and around this space, and Jeff, as of you, obviously, and you've seen costs of leads. $55 per zip code per month is probably the lowest that you've maybe seen.
It's really low. It really is.
Yeah, and this is for seller leads.
I'm looking at the chat. You got Sam that says, "Can I buy the second spot so I'm the only one receiving leads because there's nobody in my zip code?" And then we have Deborah that says, "I'm still on a wait list." Like I would, if nobody's doing it in your area, I would get all over it right away.
100%. And one thing about the wait list, folks, is think about expanded markets that everybody has their key markets that they go after, right? But sometimes look into your secondary markets and see what's available. Our teams can show you actually how many seller introductions that you should be getting in a year. Because that's the way I explain it. Yes, they're technically a lead, but how you should be really thinking about it is this is an introduction to a potential seller. And how else, even if that volume is 15 a year, 30 a year, how else are you going to be introduced to 15?
I'm kind of laughing because I'm sitting there thinking how much crap I've spent that was way more than $2,000 a year, like that got nothing. Let's spend some money on something that's actually working, that are getting you leads, that are turning into conversions for seller leads.
Yeah, for seller leads, diversify. A lot of people have spent so much money investing in their buyer stuff, and not that that's wrong, but the industry's changing. And most people, as their career evolves, want to be on the seller side, right? You're not having to drive around your buyers as much.
That's right.
That hopefully that is even changing a little bit with some of these changes that are coming up. But if more than half of these sellers are also going to be looking to buy, but I always tell everybody, it is astonishing to me how many complaints we get from people that just bought within 30 days. I want to be as upfront as possible. If you get a listing within 30 days, I'm so happy for you, but you got very, very lucky.
That's right.
The reason why you asked me early on, Jeff, like how long is the commitment? It's 12 months. The reason why is I'd be setting you up for improper expectations if we did a month to month. Everyone would cancel.
That's right. I didn't get anything next.
Right. I didn't get a listing in 30 days. And as crazy as that sounds, I get them multiple times a day of how many people are like, I've been on for 2 weeks and I haven't had anything come through that's ready to list.
Here's a question that Tom Hunt asked is, how will we know when the concierge set up the appointment? Will they get notified, a text or an email?
Yes, you get a text message notification. So once our concierge sets up an appointment, if I go back to this slide, let's say for this person, they're 50th in line. But once you get that text message, it's going to be text the person that's ranked number 1. So if you're the paid sponsor, you're going to have that first opportunity. If you don't reply in 30 minutes, it's going to text agent rank number 2. But it doesn't mean that your opportunity to claim that appointment goes away. It just means that your exclusivity of that appointment opportunity went away.
Gotcha.
Once that appointment is claimed, we will send a text message out to everyone who was previously texted saying the appointment was already claimed. For anybody who wasn't text, so this agent who's ranked 50th, we are going to also text them and say, we just scheduled an appointment, but unfortunately you weren't one of the people that got texted because of your rank. If you'd like to learn how to increase your rank, click here. So you're going to get lots of different texts that tell you in some way you've missed out on something, if that's really how it works. But I think that's the big thing is whether it be sold.com you guys are buying, whether it be the Zillows, the Realtors, the Homes, or any of the other smaller sites that exist out there as well, it is expectations, especially with seller leads. Are you doing what you need to do? Are your expectations truly in line with everything? Are your expectations in line with this slide? 10% of people that are going to list in 12 months, It's creating those conversations. Stop calling these leads back and saying, sold.com told me you're looking to sell your home. That is not what this person did. This is not what that person asked for. This is an introduction to somebody who's looking to understand what their house value is. And so build those relationships that way. Stop calling them and saying, I heard.
Hey, Deanna, maybe I'll be speaking out of turn and we didn't even talk about this. For everybody that signs up in the next day or two, I'd be willing to have a group coaching call with everybody that signs up with sold.com. Would you like that?
That would be incredible.
I mean, everybody get that? That's a free group coaching call for everybody that signs up today or whenever this offer expires. We'll set up, I'll promise to do that in the next month. We'll have a individual group coaching call for everybody that signs up today.
Yeah, that's a once in a lifetime offering to be able to.
I'm telling you.
It's, as you've seen, like you guys see glimpses of what Jeff brings to the table, but when you talk to some of the people that Jeff has coached, I mean, he's revolutionized many agents' businesses. And to be honest, it's simple things. It's just commitment. At the end of the day, that is my biggest takeaway is we can give you everything that you need to do, but you have to commit to it.
Okay. I love it.
So
I'm putting it out there and we'll figure it out and we'll do it here in the next month. Fair enough?
Fair enough. I will get those lists of people out to you. If you guys have interest in that, you can click on the request information button. I'm also going to put it in the chat as well. Our team will be calling you back from a 949 number. Jeff, I thank you so much for your
best.
Time.
Appreciate it.
Amazing. Thank you. I look forward to connecting with you again.
Hey, here's what I think. We're both on the same side. We want everybody on this call to win. And we got to work together and we got to prove what we're doing. This is our commitment to everybody on this call. Thanks so much, everybody. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Deanna.
Bye-bye.
Bye.